And we have that responsibility in a very turbulent and chaotic world right now.
That you guys created.
With a lot of anxiety.
That you guys
with
created.
A lot of frustration. Where people think things are costing too much.
We actually don't think things cost too much. Things just are costing too much. So, welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. This is where we debrief and discuss pop culture and politics from an independent perspective. And if that interests you, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this with your friends because I need to get my name out and call me Canada. Let's get into it. So I just want to say before I get into it, I was absolutely correct. I am still not better. People are like, why do you keep stopping your sentence? Stop cutting yourself off. I am cutting myself off because I am out of breath. Ever since I got the you know what, every time I get sick, it lasts for a long time and I need to have a puffer. So we're just riding that out with some oil of oregano and my puffer. And that is why I have to pause the video so much, because it makes me lightheaded to talk to you guys. But I'm here. It's okay. I can pause the video. I can keep going. And thank you guys so much for the recent upticks in views and comments and engagement and subscribers. Honestly, I am so excited because I feel like once people are at like 5,000, then people start taking people more seriously and you start getting a lot more subscribers. So the more people talking about these things, the more eyes opened, hopefully in Canada. And it's pretty rough here right now. So let's get into the video.
Talk to you about like real industrial policy on, we're coming up with things on auto, on the defense and industrial strategy.
So that to me sounds like the thing I talked to you guys about the other day, the rumor that I heard that all of these auto sectors are going to get government contracts to build military vehicles. That's just what I heard. And when she said that, something clicked inside of my brain and I said, uh-oh, this might be true. And why I say uh-oh is just like, can we just have a free market? Can we just have Canadian built cars again? I'm so sick. And, I don't even want to go on a rant, but the quality of vehicles that we have these days has completely gone downhill. And I can't imagine when Chinese vehicles that are cheaply made come in, what is that going to look like? Have we ever thought about how replacing a battery is just as expensive as replacing one of the vehicles? So if you're driving a Chinese electric vehicle, you're probably more likely to go and choose another electric vehicle once that battery dies rather than just replacing the battery. And Melanie Jolys goes on to say, oh, well, we can say that we're working in all of these different places and investing, but we have to remember that we have to work for the people of the country. Yeah, and our quality and standard of living has completely gone down. This isn't just in our brains. I'm sorry. We used to be praised for our healthcare system, and we have seen the negative decline of what socialized medicine does. Although I will say socialized medicine used to work when we didn't have an influx of people brought into our country with no infrastructure, no hospitals built, no new doctors, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't, the math is not mathing, Melanie, and people are definitely noticing, and this anxiety doesn't come from nowhere. Okay, as I said, and I don't talk about how much we make or anything because it's not something I like to talk about, okay? I only told you guys that because that's so much of my husband's paycheck gone to taxes. We are not feeling the tax cut that MarkCarney gave us. And we are a family of 5. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't make too much off of YouTube yet. And I also have a baby bonus. But like I said, the baby bonus is not even close to what they take off my husband for EI pension plan, which is fine. We like those things, except for when we go use those things, they, you know, during a crisis, they're like, oh, maybe not, maybe not, and maybe you'll have to pay us back. So, but with all that, tax on our food, tax on everything, tax on our property, tax on our property, all of the things, all of the interests, props to Donald Trump for trying to pass a law to take off interest for a year to get people caught back up. A lot of the times, people can only afford to pay off the interest rather than the actual amount that they owe to the credit card company, and get themselves into a lot of debt. I know I have been there, but I wouldn't talk about finances and don't ever want to, but it matters when people are like, "Oh, you guys just don't work hard enough. Like, you have to budget better." No, groceries are literally twice the amount of money, and when you go from having toddlers to literal almost teenagers and preteens, guys, the amount of food that you start to consume is way higher. That little snack plate that they liked before is a dinner plate now full of snacks because they're growing. This is people it truly astounds me that people say to me, just budget better. If you want me to budget better, that means I'm going to the food bank because there's no other budgeting. Okay? You can't budget your way out of poverty when the things that people like, when I buy cream to make my own fettuccine alfredo and make whatever else I use my cream in, which is like baking and a bunch of other things. Why is that cream $8? That cream is this big, like the tall one, the 1 liter of cream, and it's almost $9. $9 for the cheaper option. You know what I mean? And I'm somebody who has time to cook for my family, but it also means that I don't get to invest more time into my podcast, which is fine because my main job is being a mom. However, normal Canadians who have to work 2 jobs, who still live around their family because it was a massive sacrifice to move away from all of our community, are still buying the expensive pre-made stuff, which is, I'm not judging, I've been there, honestly. The Liberals and their voters have completely abandoned Canadians. They don't listen to the Canadians who are struggling, and if they do, they have like this block in their brain that says, I'm not listening to them, or this is misinformation, or I'm going to insult them. That is their main go to. Instead of actually caring about people who genuinely are telling you that these policies are destroying their lives and they can't get ahead. And like, just when I try to get ahead, you guys, I was stolen money from twice. Okay. Stolen money from twice, just trying to like, it was one of them was both of them were for my photography business, as I've told you guys before. And I'm trying to, work because I got these two things that they made me get to keep my job that I worked really hard for, but now I can't work that job. You see what I'm saying? And then Melanie Jolys has the balls to go up there and say, well, we might have to care about the general public. Yeah. And one World Economic Forum speech by MarkCarney is not going to put the band-aid on the broken, paralyzed nation that is Canada. In fact, MarkCarney just got up there on the world stage, completely asked to have the entire world team up against America, against Donald Trump, and then they go ahead and make some sort of Arctic Greenland deal behind his back. And now we as Canadians don't even know what this said deal is, even though it clearly involves our land, because even with the Golden Dome, we will be part of the Golden Dome geographically wise. You know what I mean? And now we just look stupid because MarkCarney gets up there and by the way, I forgot to say this in my video yesterday. MarkCarney has kissed Donald Trump's and told him, like, this is why I have a hard time believing that MarkCarney and Donald Trump, like, this isn't part of some sort of plan. Because why would MarkCarney specifically get up there when he goes and meets Donald Trump and say, you are a transformative president? Why would he do
Hospitality and above all for your leadership. You're a transformational president, focus on the economy with a relentless focus on the American worker.
So next we're going to be discussing the Ezra Lavant and Melanie Jolys scruff. I believe that's what it's called here, because this is exactly what we need to be doing right here. Okay, listen to this.
No, I don't think so, but I'm worried that you're that you are whitewashing China's human rights abuses just to troll Donald Trump.
Yeah. So this is so important to use their own language against them because the left is stuck in this Marxist ideology. So when you use the fact that you could apply what they are so focused on about the past to what's happening right now, because they either think, especially in Canada, you're either oppressed in America, okay, probably living good in China. That's what the left's general consensus is on TikTok, that China provides incredibly cheap housing and all of these different things. I'm not kidding. And when you use this language against them, their brain sort of starts to short circuit. Okay, so Ezra Lavant saying that and some left leaning person seeing that clip, even if they don't react like a normal person would, that will be planting a seed inside of their brain. It truly will. And the left is so focused on what's going on in the past that they're skipping the fact that they're ignoring the real problems that Canadians are facing in the current time. Because, guys, even Rachel Gilmore, who brought up the point that I brought up yesterday, that his speech didn't make sense to the average person. And what are they doing? They're calling her stupid. They're calling her all of the things that I said that the left should technically not like about what MarkCarney's speech was. I think that they're just brainwashed into loving him so much. Rachel actually brought up and said, and I kind of respect her for it because she's right. If there is a time where we're going to be criticizing someone who is a billionaire banker, shouldn't it be, someone who goes up there and pretends that everything is hunky dory in the country that he's running? And the thing is that MarkCarney would sit there and say things, and I would have to go after and look up what those things are, like certain treaties or certain ways. I didn't even know the Coalition of the Willing was a real thing. They mentioned it on Parks and Recreation years ago. I thought it was just something Leslie made up, so I had to go and look at it. But he doesn't explain what those things really are. And that's the problem, is that he's saying a whole bunch of nothing to, I don't know, hypnotize Canadians into thinking that he's a legitimate prime minister, despite him not being in the country until today, January 22nd. And he wasn't even part of the most important part of whatever was discussed about Greenland. And I'm so glad that that one girl is on Power and Politics, because she is just making sure that David Cochran knows that he's full of baloney. And even watching her face when he's talking, she's literally like, what is wrong with you? And David Cochran said that even if PierrePoilievre was in, he wouldn't blame Pierre or Elizabeth May or anybody if they didn't get a deal with Donald Trump because he's such a tyrannist or whatever he said. David, would you be doing that from the comfort of your home? Because CBC wouldn't be funded anymore, and I'm pretty sure you guys would lose your jobs. So, wondering what your plans are if that ever happens. And, you guys do a good job of being the liberal spin team over there at CBC. But like I said, the reality is that guy, MarkCarney, is going to step off the tarmac today, have to deal with real life again, which is the country that he's running being quite literally half of the year up in flame, and figuratively a dumpster fire in most cities in Canada. And you can only have one good speech talking down to the masses like that, because if things don't improve next January when Davos meets again, this sort of speech wouldn't go over well. I assume it didn't go over well in all of the families who have lost their freaking jobs. Okay, watching him lie about investments in Canada and creating jobs. We can't get jobs. Jobs are leaving Canada to go to America. Okay? I don't know what they don't get about that. And I'm sorry if this repeated a lot of things that I have said in the past couple of days, but this government is unbelievably out of touch. They don't realize that we too could just pull down the signs in the shop and stop with the illusion that Canada is this functioning country, because it's not. It's time to admit the things that you've been supporting have only harmed Canadians and continue to do so, lefties. It's time to hold your government to accountability. And if you don't like what's going on right now, please make sure that you are emailing your MPs. I know it seems useless. Okay, believe me, I was emailing Charlie Anus, but it's their job to know how we feel. So, anyways, guys, I want to thank you guys so much. I've had an uptick of views, subscribers, comments, and thanks you guys so much for the engagement. It's really helping my videos and helping my name get out there, and I'm so excited. So thanks guys, especially everybody that's been here from the beginning, and I want you guys to know that you matter, you belong here, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Let's take a deep breath. Right, that's needed. Okay, watching elected officials at Davos like just really isn't fun. And I really hope that you guys have ways of relaxing and creating a good environment in your homes and just learning how to enjoy the little things, even though the world around us is complete chaos. I'll see you guys tomorrow.